You don't need to eat less to lose weight. You need to eat in a way that stops leaving you hungry all day. The modern diet has an invisible enemy. It keeps pushing your insulin up over and over, and then your body answers with fatigue, constant snacking, anxiety, and that sugar craving that feels like you, but isn't always. Today, you'll see 10 foods to add to your routine that help reduce spikes, support insulin resistance, improve gut health, boost nitric oxide, and deliver omega-3 fatty acids and selenium where it actually makes sense. And subscribe so you don't miss the next videos, and comment below which of these foods you already eat day to day, and which one you're going to try first. It's not a lack of discipline, it's an invisible enemy in the modern diet. Today you'll see 7 foods to add to your daily routine, and 3 bonus picks to round out your diet. The shift is simple: less fighting with food, more appetite control. And the core point is how insulin sets the pace of your day. When a lot of ultra-processed foods come in, insulin spikes and crashes non-stop. Over time, that can lead to insulin resistance for a lot of people. Then the usual signs show up: getting hungry too soon, craving sweets, post-meal sleepiness, bloating. It's not drama, it's a pattern, and patterns can be adjusted. Today's move: do the 2-hour test with 1 meal. If you're hungry again fast, no guilt needed. You just need to swap the base of your plate. Put protein and fiber first, and treat everything else as the add-on. And if a craving hits, try water plus 10 minutes. Real hunger can wait. Cravings usually fade. A common mistake: eating less and thinking that fixes everything, even with spikes all day long. Real example: toast and juice at breakfast feels light, and a lot of people end up snacking by 10 a.m. But eggs with plain yogurt usually keep you full longer and quiet the noise in your head. Now here's the rule that separates neutral foods from foods that push insulin up. This changes your life because it pulls you out of guessing and puts a simple filter in your hands. It's not about eating perfectly, it's about choosing what won't trigger spikes all day long. In general, fiber and healthy fats become your allies in this. And once you start using that filter, your body tends to respond with more stability. Why does it work? Because food that actually keeps you full cuts down the back and forth of hunger and cravings. Fewer spikes, fewer crashes, fewer "I need something right now" moments at 4 p.m. That often helps with appetite, mood, and even gut health for a lot of people. The logic here is practical. What keeps your body steady makes consistency easier. How to use it today: pick 1 meal and build it like this: base plus buffer plus finishing touch. Base, protein; buffer, fiber, veggies; finishing touch, a healthy fat on top. Then keep carbs optional and smaller, not the main character on your plate, and do a quick check. Steadier energy and less snacking is already a great sign. A common mistake: falling for healthy products that look wholesome but are basically sugar in disguise, or living on light snacks and ending up stuck being hungry every few hours. Real example: at a restaurant, order meat or fish with a salad and ask for the dressing on the side. Now here's the detail almost no one notices. The first item on the list is controversial, and it works. This changes things because it adds a dense, steady food to your day without the easy spike. When it's high quality and more fermented, a lot of people feel fuller for longer. It also becomes a practical shortcut that helps you avoid that afternoon sweet snack. If you're aiming for consistency, it's often a secret weapon. Why it works: it delivers protein and fat in a combo that actually holds you over. And because it's fermented, it can support your microbiome. Your microbiome talks back. On top of that, aged cheeses can provide vitamin K2 and compounds like butyric acid. And when lactose is lower, a lot of people tolerate it better too. How to use it today? Choose a full-fat cheese from a good source. Pick aged fermented when you can, and start with a small portion. Have it as a snack with nuts, or alongside a salad. No need to get fancy. Then pay attention: fullness, digestion, and sugar cravings in the hours after. A common mistake: assuming any cheese works and ending up with ultra-processed options, or going overboard on the portion and turning an ally into extra calories without noticing. Real example: at the store, grab an aged cheese and have 2 to 3 slices with arugula. And there's a sweet food on the list that surprises people, but only if you do it the right way. This changes things because you stop thinking of probiotics as just digestion, and you widen the game. A lot of people go looking for a less bloated belly, but end up noticing better sleep and a calmer appetite. And when your body sleeps better, it makes better decisions during the day. The goal here is a small routine with a compounding payoff. Why it works? L-reuteri is a microorganism many people have very little of today. Antibiotics, low exposure to fermented foods, and even breastfeeding history can all play a role. It doesn't contain oxytocin, but it may signal pathways in the body via the vagus nerve that influence well-being. And that ties into stress, which ties into hunger, and you've felt that cycle. How to use it today? If you can find yogurt with L-reuteri, start small. Half a cup is enough to test tolerance, especially if you bloat easily. Use it as a snack or with a meal, and keep it going for a few days before you judge it. And watch 3 signals: digestion, sleep, and that urge to snack for no reason. A common mistake, starting with a big dose and blaming the food for discomfort that was predictable. Or buying flavored yogurt and thinking it's the same thing. Sugar ruins the point. Real example, when you're in a rush, it becomes a quick snack with cinnamon and 1 Brazil nut. Now we're moving into a spoonable fermented food that a lot of people underestimate until they feel the difference. This changes things because you give your gut a gentle nudge without complicating your diet. 1 spoonful a day can do more for gut health than most people realize. And the best part, it's a food with almost no net carbs, easy to fit in, simple, cheap, and straight to the point. Why it works? When it's raw and unpasteurized, it brings live microorganisms. The heat used in industrial processing usually kills that part, so it turns into just sour cabbage. On top of that, it delivers fiber, vitamin C, and compounds that support the gut lining. And there's a lesser-known star, vitamin U S-methylmethionine. Links to gut lining support in some nutrition approaches. How to use it today? Look for raw and unpasteurized on the label in the refrigerated section. Start with 1 or 2 tablespoons with lunch, not on an empty stomach. If you're sensitive, slowly work up to something like half a cup based on tolerance, and keep it basic, consistency, not extremes. A common mistake: buying shelf-stable sauerkraut, not refrigerated, and expecting the benefits of live fermentation. Or eating too much at once, getting uncomfortable, and quitting before your body adapts. Real example, on a basic lunch plate, add your meat, your salad, and a spoonful of sauerkraut on the side. And there's a leafy green that looks like just salad. But it can influence circulation via nitric oxide in a really interesting way. This changes things because you stop seeing leafy greens as just decoration and start using them as a tool. Arugula is simple, but it has an effect a lot of people feel throughout the whole body. It's easy to fit into your day and gives you that lighter, better after-meal feeling. And it's one of the smartest greens if you want something practical. Why it works? It supports nitric oxide production, which helps with vasodilation, that connects to blood pressure and vascular protection. And it's not just about the heart. When circulation improves, a lot of things improve with its energy, recovery, well-being. And here's a key detail from the video. It's lower in oxalates than some leafy greens, which is reassuring for people who worry about that. How to use it today? Add a handful of arugula to 1 meal a day. Dress it with extra virgin olive oil and lemon, and if you want, finish with nutritional yeast. If you'd normally use it in a sandwich, skip the bread, make the plate your base, and build a hearty salad instead. And watch one thing: how your fullness and your energy feel afterward. A common mistake: eating dry greens with no healthy fat and expecting it to keep anyone satisfied. Or drowning it in bottled dressing and turning a salad into sugar and bad oils in disguise. Real example: at a restaurant, order meat or fish, ask for arugula as the base and drizzle olive oil on top. And since we're talking about olive oil, next up is a food that's basically the symbol of real anti-inflammatory power: high-dose omega-3 fatty acids. This changes things because you add a food that calms inflammation and keeps you full in a way that's hard to match. For a lot of people, that means fewer random aches, less bloating, and clearer thinking. It also tends to help anyone who's constantly hunting for a snack in the middle of the afternoon. It's the kind of food that makes your body feel truly nourished. Why it works? It delivers a high dose of omega-3 fatty acids, specifically DHA and EPA. DHA supports the brain and retina. EPA supports inflammation, control, and recovery. And here's a simple provocation: a lot of things that end in itis improve when the body has more omega-3. Another point: selenium shows up as a useful shield in discussions about metals like mercury. How to use it today. If you can, go wild-caught. If not, choose the best option your budget allows. Bake it, grill it, or cook it in the air fryer with salt, lemon, and olive oil, no breading. Try to eat it with the skin on when possible. There are nutrients there. And collagen too. And a practical goal. Fatty fish a few times a week can shift the pattern. A common mistake, assuming all salmon is the same and ignoring the difference between wild and farmed, or ruining it with sweet sauces, honey, glaze, and turning it into a dessert in disguise. Real example. At the store, grab salmon plus arugula plus olive oil, and you've basically built 2 meals. And there's an even more direct omega-3 hack almost nobody uses, but it's cheap and powerful. This changes things because you can get a high dose of omega-3 without having to cook fish all the time. For people with a busy routine, it becomes a real plan B. No excuses. And a lot of people tolerate it better than they expect, because the texture isn't like typical liver. It's one of those foods that seems weird, until it becomes a habit. Why it works? It concentrates omega-3 fatty acids and helps counterbalance excess omega-6. And today, with so much industrial seed oil and seeds in everything, that balance matters. The logic is simple. Less pro-inflammatory raw material, more anti-inflammatory raw material. And that can support joints, skin, mood, and recovery, not as a miracle, just as a strong trend. How to use it today? Start with a small portion, like 2 or 3 bites. Mix it with salad, tomatoes, lemon, and olive oil, like a premium tuna. Avoid drinking the oil from the can if you get heavy. Easily start with just the food. And try it 1-2 times a week to see how your body responds. A common mistake, treating it like oil and taking it as a shot. Then you feel nauseous and quit. Or buying any brand without reading the label and ending up with unnecessary additives. Real example. At lunch, throw it over arugula with olive oil and you're done a meal in 2 minutes. And now comes a twist that breaks the bias. There's a junk food that, done right, becomes real food. This changes things because you stop demonizing a format and start looking at the raw ingredient. A burger can be junk, or it can be quality ground beef, simple and nutrient-dense. And for a lot of people, it saves their routine. It fills you up, it's practical, and it prevents constant snacking. The rule here is, how you do it matters more than what it's called. Why it works. Protein, with its natural fat, digests more slowly and keeps you full longer. When you eat protein that's too lean and dry, your body may start asking for something extra pretty fast. Good quality beef delivers B vitamins, zinc, iron, copper, creatine, and carnosine. And more bioavailable iron is a detail many people feel in their energy, especially when their diet has been running low. How to use it today? Choose ground beef from a good source, ideally grass-fed when you can. Don't go ultra-lean. A little fat helps with fullness and smoother blood sugar swings. Keep the seasoning simple, grill it, and skip the buns. Serve it over salad, arugula, tomatoes, and olive oil. And if you want it to feel like a burger, do it on a plate with fermented cheese on top and you're set. A common mistake, thinking a healthy burger is the fast food version with a bun, sweet sauce, and fries. Or trying to live on egg whites and whey as your base, then wondering why your hunger feels frantic. Real example, when you're out, order an artisan burger on a plate, no bun, and swap fries for a side salad. And there's a tiny food almost ridiculously simple that can impact thyroid, immunity, and even hair. It comes in with a minimal dose. This changes things because with just 1 to 2 pieces, you get a key mineral into your body without complicating anything. It's the kind of tiny detail that improves consistency. You can do it every day. And when your foundation is weak, sometimes your body reaches for sweets, coffee, and constant snacking just to compensate. The idea here is to give it what it's missing, not fight the symptom. Why it works? It's one of the most well-known sources of selenium. Selenium plays an important role with the thyroid, converting T4 into T3, and with the immune system. And in the modern world, depleted soil and more washed-down foods can reduce how much you get in your diet. When this mineral runs low, some people feel it in their hair, energy, and recovery. How to use it today? 1 Brazil nut a day is already an excellent start. If you want to, fine, but don't turn it into an endless snack, because too much selenium for months can cause problems. Have it with breakfast, or as a finish after lunch, or with plain yogurt. And if you take mineral supplements, it's worth checking the label so you don't stack everything without realizing it. A common mistake, eating a handful every day because it's healthy and going overboard for months without noticing. Or buying old rancid nuts, then it becomes inflammation disguised as health. Real example, set aside a small container with 7 nuts for the week, 1 per day, no negotiating. And now comes the quality filter that seems simple. But the market is full of adulteration. If you get this wrong, your salad loses half its power. This changes things because it turns salad from light food into food that actually works. It adds flavor, boosts satiety, and helps your body absorb what's on your plate more effectively. And when the olive oil is good, a lot of people even notice digestion feels smoother. It's a small detail with a big impact on your routine. Why it works? It helps pull phytochemicals out of leafy greens and vegetables, and those compounds tie into heart health, inflammation, and cellular energy. Some olive oils are packed with powerful phytochemicals, and that supports the body in a steady way. And the fun part is, you can feel quality. The good stuff gives a slight burn in the back of your throat. How to use it today? Use 1 tablespoon with 1 milliliter on salad or vegetables. Taste a drop on the tip of your tongue. If it has a little peppery bite, that's a good sign. Store it away from heat and light, and seal it while bad oil turns into bad flavor and worse results. And if you can, rotate brands until you find one you trust and can keep buying consistently. A common mistake, buying extra virgin that isn't really extra virgin, or keeping it near the stove and letting it oxidize, or skimping on olive oil and making up for it with bottled dressing full of sugar and cheap oils. Real example, at a restaurant, order a salad and ask for olive oil on the side, then dress it yourself with lemon and salt. Now, with all of this in your hands, you can build a simple weekly plan, no fear-mongering. No magic promises, just smart consistency. What truly changes everything isn't willpower. It's the filter you use every single day. When someone chooses foods that don't keep pushing insulin up non-stop, the body tends to settle into a steadier rhythm, less frantic hunger, less automatic snacking, more predictability. And that's when weight loss and health stop feeling like a constant struggle and start becoming a simple process you can repeat. The plan is straightforward. Use protein and fiber as your foundation. Add healthy fats on purpose. Bring fermented foods in gradually to support gut health. GET omega-3 fatty acids regularly. And dial in the small details that matter, like a small dose of selenium and real extra virgin olive oil. It's not about perfection. It's smart consistency, the kind you can stick with even during a packed week. Now tell me, which of these foods do you already eat today without thinking about it? Which one will you try first and in which meal? And which food did you always hear was a bad guy, but you're seeing differently now? Subscribe and turn on notifications, because the next videos will help you build this into real life without complication and without nutrition fear-mongering. This content is for informational purposes only and does not replace professional medical advice. Results may vary. Always consult a healthcare professional before making significant changes to your diet or training routine.